Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am talking about the 13 things that you need to do in your first hour in Bangkok. And these are super important. We have to talk about this very first one because it's talking about after you land, what's going to happen, how are you going to get to your hotel. And there's several options. First of all, there's a couple of different airports to fly into in Bangkok. You fly into the main airport, which is, if your ticket says BKK, then that means you're flying into Suvarnabhumi Airport, which is generally going to be most of the international flights. If you're coming from the US or Canada or someplace like that, you're going to be landing most likely in Suvarnabhumi Airport. So that's where most of these tips are going to be from. If you're flying from a different nearby country like Malaysia or Vietnam or something, or Cambodia, you're likely going to be flying into what's DMK, Don Muang Airport, but these tips are mainly, but although you can apply them also to DMK, these are mainly for Suvarnabhumi Airport. First thing is, so you've got several options for transportation from the airport into the city center. The cheapest is going to be the airport railway link, and this is basically like a metro train that goes from the airport into a couple different stops in the city center, and then from there you can hop on any of the other trains and go to wherever it is that you need to go in the city. Now, if the place you're going to isn't close to one of those lines, then you may want to consider one of the different options that I'm going to talk about. But the train, it runs from 6 a.m. to midnight, so it doesn't run 24 hours. So if your flight is coming in after midnight, which does happen sometimes with international flights, especially if they're delayed, then you're not going to be able to use this option. And it runs anywhere from 35 to 45 baht, depending on where you're going to get off, which is around $1 or $1.50 USD. So pretty good option. Next one is to download the Grab app. And the Grab app is basically going to be like your Uber when you're in Thailand. You can use it for transportation, for food delivery, for grocery delivery, for someone to run errands for you, all different kinds of things. But you'll need this downloaded and ready to go with a card attached to it when you get to the airport. Now, you can use it without the card and just pay cash. I'll talk more in a minute about cash when we get down this list a little bit, but you will want to have this. You can expect to pay anywhere from 300 to 600 Thai baht, which is 9 to 18 US dollars. From the airport. Just really depends on where you're going to in the city, depends on that pricing. There is going to also be an airport surcharge tagged onto that, as well as the tolls, which there are several along the way. They're not expensive, but we're talking about, 50 cents, sometimes a quarter, sometimes $1, sometimes $2 or $3. Just depends on where you are going, what the tolls are going to be, but those are all going to be added in. And if you already have your card attached to the Grab app, then it'll just automate it. Everything will be automatic, so you don't have to worry about, getting change or anything like that. And I like to do it with a card so that I don't have to worry about having the exact change, because a lot of times the drivers will not have good change for you, especially if you have bigger bills, if you just got money out at the airport, or you're coming with bigger bills because you exchanged when you were at home. The next option, and the least favorable of all the options, there's still one more option after this, is to, when you arrive in the arrivals hall, go downstairs from the arrivals hall and go to the taxi stand. And there's a kiosk there where you key in how many people are in your party, and then it spits out a number, and you go to that bay, and there's going to be a car there or one arriving soon where you will load in and head to wherever you're going in, most likely the city centers. But the problem here is that these are supposed to be metered taxis, and 10 times out of 10 in my experience with the taxi drivers down there, and I've only done it a couple of times, is that they try to negotiate a rate with you, and usually it's going to be much higher than you would pay if you did Grab, or if you arrange something on your own, or even higher than if you took the airport rail link into the city center. So keep in mind that this is setting yourself up for a prime possible scam situation if you do not use the other options. The last option is the one that we usually use, and that is booking a transportation, a driver. We book it through Klook. and we book a driver so that he's there waiting, a sign with our name on it. He grabs our bags, we load them into the car, and we are out of there. I don't have to wait, because one of the bad things about Grab, although it sounds amazing, if there are a lot of flights coming in on that same day, there's going to be a ton of people doing the exact same thing. I've gotten out there before and had so many cars, so many people waiting for cars, and it was just kind of organized chaos, and it was just really stressful after getting off of a very long flight, jet lagged and just, tired and all that kind of good stuff, to have to mess around with that. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes there's only 1 or 2 flights coming in, but a lot of times it's quite a few of those jumbo jets coming in with loads and loads of people who are all trying to do the same thing, get into the city center. So that's why we like to just go ahead and book a driver through Klook, and that way we don't have to worry about it. Our driver is there. It's a little bit more than any of the other options, but honestly, we're talking about another maybe $5 or so more than the other options. So it's really not that much more, and you get, easy breezy right through there. Like I said, they wait for you with a sign and then help you out as quickly as possible once you have all of your things. The next thing you need to decide is phone service. You've got to have a plan here. Now, if you're planning to use the Grab app when you get there, guess what? You're going to need phone service, because once you get outside, you're not going to be able to use your phone. The Wi-Fi for the airport is not going to reach outside in front when you're out in that Grab app area, pickup area. So you are going to have some type of phone service. We highly recommend using an eSIM. We use Airalo. I'll leave a code for that down below, where you get a discount if you use my code, and I get a couple dollars in my account as well if you use my code, but I'll leave that down below. I love the Airalo app, and what I do is I usually get a regional Asia eSIM instead of the Thailand one. I find the Thailand ones a little bit pricey unless you buy them directly from one of the eSIM sellers right there at the airport. So you could buy it right from somebody, a physical SIM or an eSIM right there at the airport. But I like to have it so that when we land, I could turn my phone on, and I usually always have a message from the driver who's picking us up saying, hey, I'm here, this is where I'm at, and then usually they send you a picture of the location to pick you up. So I love that, so I turn it on right away and I am good to go. So make sure you guys figure that out before you get here. So that's the second thing that you need to do. The next thing, the third thing, is before you leave the airport, as I mentioned earlier, you might want to have some cash with you. And yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive to use the ATMs at the airport and to use the exchange houses at the airport. But if you didn't already get cash wherever you left from, if you didn't get bahts, the local currency in Thailand, before you left wherever you left from, you are going to not have money. They're not going to be able to accept, USD or whatever you've got. So you got to make sure you get some cash just in case, because you never know what you're going to run into. So I always like to grab some there at the airport, even though you're going to pay just a little bit more at the ATM or at the exchange houses if you're exchanging USD or any other type. So make sure that you have that all settled. Next thing is make sure that you figure out where you're going to stay. You're going to obviously have that already planned before you arrive. But I've got a video here on the channel on the best places to stay in Bangkok, recommendations on the neighborhoods that I think are some of the best neighborhoods to stay in, and what places to stay in those neighborhoods. I've stayed in a ton of hotels and a ton of Airbnbs in Bangkok over the years, and I've got a lot of videos here on the channel sharing those, of all the different accommodations. So make sure you check those out. The big thing here is you want to be as close as possible to the BTS, to the train line. That's the main one. The MRT is the underground. The BTS is the SkyTrain. And it's going to get you to a lot of the major, or as close as possible to a lot of the major tourist attractions. So you are going to want to be as close, your accommodations to be as close as possible, because believe me, once you get there, it is going to be really, really hot. Most people have not experienced this type of heat and humidity before, so they find it challenging in those first few days. So make sure that you get someplace close so that you don't have to be exposed to that high heat as much as you're moving around the city. Next thing is to make sure and download some maps for the city, especially for the area that you're going to be staying in. That way you don't have to worry about, Wi-Fi or using your data or anything like that. This helps you to be able to have city maps so that you can see, things offline and not have to worry about using your data on doing that. Next is make sure that you're drinking lots of water. Honestly, as soon as you land, you probably should be doing it on the plane before you even land. Drinking as much water as possible will help with, any swelling that you might have, but will also help with jet lag as well. So stay really well hydrated. It will also help, again, with the fact that it is going to be much warmer than you anticipate. And so you do want to definitely stay as hydrated as possible. I not only drink water, but I also love to drink Pocari Sweat. I don't know if anybody else likes Pocari Sweat, but I love it. It gives you those electrolytes with that ionic water. So make sure you guys are drinking lots of water. Bring a bottled water with you, reusable bottle that you can refill even, that you can do that at lots of places. Next thing is make sure that you eat some local food as soon as you can get to it. Get to your accommodation, walk around the area and check out some of the local food. Dive into the culture as quickly as possible. I think that's one of the big things that people miss out on. You get a little bit intimidated because of the language and all those types of things. But if you jump in right away, I think that method has always worked out really well for me, for us, just kind of jumping into the culture, and especially when you eat local food. Next one is to head over to your closest 7-Eleven, which is probably not going to be that far from your hotel, and grab some snacks. And again, grab some extra water and things like that. You're not going to be able to drink the tap water, so make sure that you've got extra water and you're not running low on it, because again, you got to stay really hydrated. Next one is to practice a few short Thai phrases. You can probably practice this on the plane. Learn how to say hello, learn how to say thank you, how to say please, yes, no, bathroom, all those types of things. Just kind of run through there. There's lots of different apps that will help you to just do the short phrases. You're not going to learn Thai and be speaking Thai to people from these apps, but you will be able to, learn some key phrases that you can use quickly on your initial visit. And then you can learn more from there when you start making some Thai friends. They do love to show you, to teach you their language, which is really cool. I absolutely love that part of it. Next one is hit the ground running. The best way to overcome jet lag is just to get out there, get some sun on your skin, and enjoy everything that the city has to offer. Get to know your neighborhood around you. You're going to want to get a Thai massage, I promise you, or even a foot massage to help with that swelling from the flight, and just get some good circulation going. So definitely look around the neighborhood. There's probably going to be quite a few of them. You can shop around and see which shop looks better to you and just decide on what's possible close to you. Next one is to secure your BTS and or MRT pass, SkyTrain and the MRT card. So you can buy a ticket every single time that you're going to ride the trains, but I was actually so surprised at how busy the lines were to buy tickets. They have machines and they have tellers or cashier stations where you can go and buy them, or the machines, but there always seems to be a line. So especially during like rush hour times, you don't want to be stuck trying to buy a ticket for one way when you're sitting there at the train. So I just buy the refillable card and I put a lump sum on it at once. I put 500 baht or 1,000 baht on it, 1,000 if I'm going to stay there for a long time, because I do use the trains a lot. I have both the BTS and the MRT card because I do travel on both of them when I'm in the city. Now you do need to make sure that you bring your passport with you the first time that you get the card. You don't need it when you're refilling it, but you do need it the first time you get the card. And then hang on to that card because it is reloadable. It's good. Last time I checked, it was good for 7 years. So it's good for a long time. And then you don't have to bother with buying it again, and you can easily refill it. And actually the MRT, you can sometimes just refill those with the machines as well. So keep those nice and loaded and you won't have to mess with standing in line. Number 12 is to stop by a local temple. I think one of the things to really, again, when you're doing that walk, and if you find a local temple, stop and check that out. Now, do make sure that you cover your shoulders and your knees when you are visiting the temples. You'll get these same rules when you're visiting the big tourist ones. You want to also check out the small local ones too, because it really is a very unique experience. Again, taking in the culture as quickly and as early as possible, you are going to have an incredible experience. And then the last one I highly, highly recommend is to grab a Thai tea. And you can do this from a vendor on the street, or you can do this from any of the different shops that are around. You can even go to probably the most famous one that you can get, and that is Chatramu. You can go to that one. You'll see them all over the place. You'll probably see them at the airport too, to grab a Thai tea or a nice bubble tea beverage, because it will just kind of centralize you to the culture and to what you are about to experience. I think it's so important to go through these steps and to have all of these things taken care of, and things that you need to do in that first hour when you land in Bangkok. So make sure that you jotted these down. If you have any questions or you want to add some more to this list, leave them for me down in the comment. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, give me a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you next time.